You can talk to MPs who are well into their 70s that are at least reading constituent email and understand that it's a different world than pen writing. And so that 70-year-old MP is probably not Twittering, for example. And so don't pretend that you are because you think that's what people want. What people want is an authentic relationship that just happens to be online. I challenge clients, especially in early parts of the relationship with clients, if this room were filled with 100 people, forget about technology, what would you ask them to do? And if you can't answer that question, your problem's not technology. The people at the Labour Party have done a good job building tools and a good job, especially recently in design. It comes down to a messaging challenge of I can get an email from Harriet Harman one day and from Gordon Brown the next day, and on different topics. They're not really cultivating an audience to guide people. And oftentimes the emails come with no link at all, which is just wasted opportunity. If they do have a link, typically they'll have 4 or 5 links as opposed to one that's driving a common action. They don't really give me here. There's a good David Cameron piece. They have a lot of the Facebook stuff. They have all the typical volunteerism, but there doesn't seem to be, what if there are 5 things I can do today for Labor? What are they? How do you make that really clear? How do you also spotlight people that are volunteers or active? What's happening in my neighborhood, for example? Can I find a meeting to go to within 10 meters, 10 miles of where I am? They don't really do much of that except if you go in beyond the password. And so that's, again, sort of a high barrier. You need to spoon feed people to get them deeply involved. On the Tory site, conservatives.org, they've been really impressive with the design, offline and on. I just saw a billboard today it was sort of a newborn baby of mommy's eyes, daddy's nose, Gordon's debt. I mean, it's a memorable image. They've done it here too. I mean, so they're taking advantage of that memorable, item. They again don't show me from the very top where I can sign up to get involved. There are sort of, I think the conservatives.tv and web Cameron has been successful, although I think probably too focused on the media audience as opposed to the core activist audience. My only immediate would be that the email is the last thing on the page and not the first thing, so it's hard to sustain that audience development. But it's quite an active design. I think they keep it certainly updated, and they've integrated the offline messaging to the online, which is something that is not always easy to do in an organization like that. When I go into typically political parties or chapter-based organizations, I ask the question of if you came from your national perspective, your sort of headquarters, if you came up with a marketing plan that would put 10 new excited activists in your chapter meetings next week, is that exciting for your existing sort of members or terrifying? And at least 5 times out of 10, the answer, if they're honest, is terrifying, because there's an organizational resistance to change. It's difficult now for both of your parties to say, here's what we need to do in time for an election, because that's just the hurry up and wait mentality. You need to actually commit organizationally to say, win or lose, this is where marketing is going, this is where membership communication is going, and we need to figure out what the 5-year plan is, not the 5-month plan.